how technology can change the relationship between two countries. It's interesting to see how this affects the relationships between United States and Saudi Arabia, which has already taken place, and it will be seen in more and more by time in coming decades. We are going to see how their relations are not broken, but there is a elastic, becomes more elastic. Now, coming to this point, the relationship between Saudis and the American are not strength or not becoming even more powerful, but it's detaching. And this is because of the technology and Saudi Arabia's attitude to, because of the monarchy and the democracy, let's say. I can't enough stress that there is no democracy in Saudi. The administration has a monarchy system, and whatever the king says and the leaders of the family instruct, it has to be done. We have seen how this democracy is not welcomed in Saudi Arabia with the incident of Jamal Khashoggi, which took place in 2018 in Turkey, Istanbul. But it's now we know all these things, but how and why I am mentioning that technology affects the relationship between Saudi Arabia and United States. As you know, by 2012, America has started to increase the capacity of oil production through the technology that they acquired and through the shale production. Now, since the technology enables United States in terms of cost and also technology I am speaking of, now they are sufficient to meet with their own demands from United States, its own land. According to the projections, in between 20 to 25, United States will be self-sufficient, which means that they do not require any purchase from any other countries in terms of oil. Now, once we think or remember the meeting between Roosevelt and King Abdulaziz in 1940s in USS Quincy, and how it emerged from that up until here today, this is very important, because the relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia are based on the needs and the musts, but not the shared values. What do I mean by shared values? If you are going to look at the relations between United States and United Kingdom and Canada and European Union, there are more shared values. But they are with the Saudis, it's more needs. In 1950s, 60s, once the American economy starts increasing its effects and it starts to dominate the globe, they need the energy in order to produce all these goods. So they need to access the cheap energy, and Saudi Arabia was enabling this, which is what United States aimed to guarantee this. That's why President Roosevelt at that moment met with the King Abdulaziz. Now, remembering that, during the Soviet invasion in Afghanistan and the Iran Islam Republic occurrence, the United States and Saudi Arabia found themselves aligned. But as of today, the dependency of United States to Saudis are becoming less, but Saudis' dependency to United States are intact. But once US doesn't want to align anymore with Saudis as much as it was before, Saudis feel or are compelled to find new strategic alliances. So that's why last month the future king of Saudi Arabia went to China and met with President Xi in order to invest in China to sell more oil products. That was a strategic move coming from Saudi. And I believe that's also an evidence why I meant by the technology has affected the relations between the United States and Saudi Arabia. Now we are projecting that, we are believing that in coming decades, these with the alliances between the United States and Saudi Arabia will be more or will be weakened. There is also one more important aspect what we have been seeing since 2000, 2008 or 6, let's say. President Obama has tried to make a peace with the Iran regime. Yes, I know President Trump has reverted back because he believes it will be more strict, but still the intention is there that the United States administration and the future presidents, I believe, in the United States are intended to make a peace with the Iran regime in the long term. They want to strictly ask Iranian to follow their intentions and to follow their terms, not Iranian terms. That's why all these future even sanctions will be strengthened, and all the existing sanctions are taking place to make Iranian to agree the American terms. But in future, I will say not maybe short term, but at least in the middle term, future, there will be a peace between Iranian and American, any American administration. I believe it will take place in between 10 to 15 years top. Now, since I'm a Turkish, what does it mean for Turkey? If Turkey can be able to use this time, I will say wisely, we can increase, or it gives us time to increase our interest and influence in the region of, I will say, Mesopotamia, which is the northern Syria, northern Iraq at first, up until Yemen, and even in the North Africa to some extent, because Saudis will be more pulled to in order to keep their economy intact as today. They have to find new markets, and they have to do it very diligently, because their strategic partner is becoming China, but they have still the alliances with the United States, so they have to really follow diligence relationships or a path to balance these relations. But for Turkey, it doesn't make any difference because of our own interest. Turkey is going to follow its own strategy and interest. I believe this will give us to recover the economy if policy leaders will follow this. I believe it should be done as quickly as as we can. Otherwise, the Turkey's influence and the interest will not be empowered, but will be weakened greatly. If you don't have the economy to support your interest in terms of security and also businesses, you are not going to be empowered in the coming decades. So, first of all, Turkey has to reshape its economic, I will say, environment. And this has to be done through the regulations and the structural reforms that everybody is seeking for. Now, is it going to take place? Yes. It is inevitable. It is necessary? No, it's a must. Because we can't keep a model of existing model in Turkey to survive. It's not doable anymore, not feasible anymore. We have to switch the economic model. But anyway, this technology development, which causes the United States and Saudi's relations to weaken, is giving a great opportunity for Turkey for future in order to increase its, I will say, influences. If, but only if, Turkey is going to recover from the economic difficulties up until Iran is empowered. Once Iran is empowered, there will be more balance between these two, I will say, states. But up until not that time, it will be the Turkey's leverage to go forward. And how it's going to be balanced between Iran and Turkey, we will see that in time. It depends on how Turkey is going to, or how Turkey is serious really to increase its influence in the region. Are we serious to do that or not? If we are serious, then it will be quick. It should be quick. If not, then there is no need. We can take this similar path as today and just survive. That's about Turkey's policy leaders to decide. We will see. But anyway, we are going to report to you once we are going to read the reactions from the Saudis, how they are going to react this, how their strategic alliances with Russia and also China will occur, and how US is going to react to this. We will report you more in coming time.